Steve, coming up this weekend is Phoenix. Also will be the championship race later this year in November on NBC Sports. A new package for as NASCAR tries to make the short tracks better yet again. So kind of tell us the basics of what is new and what do you expect this weekend in Phoenix?
So the basics is the underwing, the floor of the car is going to be very different. The rear diffuser is going to be very different, all to remove downforce. It actually removed so much downforce that they had to put a little bit bigger spoiler back on the car for the drivers. So the total downforce, not a lot different, but how it is created is completely different. What NASCAR is really looking for is that crutch that's kind of been gone in this next-gen car. This next-gen car, when you get a little sideways, the car loses even more grip, loses the aero advantage, and around you go. The way the downforce is created at Phoenix, that crutch might be there a little bit better. So if you get a degree or two sideways, you'll actually have something to lean on. And at a slower speed racetrack, aka the short track package, maybe this will allow drivers to be a little bit more aggressive, slide their car, change lanes, move around. What we're really looking for here is maneuverability. You know, this dirty air, clean air, total downforce argument, I think that's been kicked around, Jeff, 100 different times. I'm not sure there's any magical answer there. I don't think this is a magic switch, but it's one more brick in the wall of improving the short track racing. And this is going to be something that I think is going to have to pass the eye test. And the drivers, after an entire race, are going to have to say, I had more ability to maneuver my car, thus making more passes, thus entertaining the fans.
Yeah, that's the key, right? We'll see it Sunday, and we'll know if it was better or not. And it's very hard. I know a lot of fans are like, look, they could just do this. Well, it's just not that simple, and it's very complicated to fix this aero problem. It's in every form of racing. And by the way, our short tracks are still big, fast racetracks. Phoenix is a 1 mile racetrack. You're still going fast. So the faster you go, the more, aerodynamics matter, period, end of story. So it's a difficult combination or problem to fix. The other thing that's happening this week is there's a new tire. So it's Steve and I went through many tire tests, right? And you would try to get the tire, essentially the rubber, as thin as you could get it because it would dissipate heat. It would get that heat off the tire. Well, this tire is the exact opposite thought. It is a thicker gauge tire to try to put heat in the tire, to try to incite tire fall off on the short track. So the speed starts falling off, cars start driving worse, and that is where you can start making passes. Again, it's a try, it's an experiment. I appreciate Goodyear going at it and trying to make something happen. So the combination of the tire and the aero balance, the aero change rather, that's the idea. Try to make the maneuverability Steve talked about, and then also make the cars change throughout the run. And as they change, what does that allow the drivers to do? And hopefully all that together, we'll see more passing.
Marty, we talk a lot about the rules, but the one thing we do know, and you could put an exclamation point, and you said it in the question, is this is where the championship will be decided. So think about it in another sport. Say it's golf, right? If you got a practice round at Augusta leading into the Masters, you absolutely would take it to prepare for that upcoming major. Well, this is it for the NASCAR world. And it's interesting because the championship race is closer to this weekend from last year than it will be at the end of this year, right? It's a long season, but you need to go out there and learn. You don't have to have a great Phoenix. You don't have to be the best car. What you don't want to do is have mechanical early, fall out of the race. Don't log every lap. Don't learn as much as you can learn. That really, I think, is the key. Not only be good and be fast, but run all day long and to continue to fill that notebook.
The other thing is we ran two drafting style racetracks. Both of those are completely different from one another. We just ran 1.5 miles, and now we're getting ready to run a 1 mile track. So when you leave Phoenix, you better be strong at something. You better be a team that says, we had a good Phoenix. Maybe we weren't good at Vegas. If you leave Phoenix and you're like, okay, we weren't good here, we weren't good here, we weren't good here, what are you building on? So I know it's race 4. I get it. It's only race 4. There will be some teams that leave Phoenix that feel really good about themselves, and there's going to be some teams that leave Phoenix that have to look themselves in the mirror and say, we have major changes to make, and we have to make them now. And I know it's race 4. I know it's hard for people to believe that the intensity happens that quick, but I promise you it does. Because everything that Steve said about the competitiveness, he's 100% right. It is so competitive. You better find a way to be good at something. If you can't be good at something, you're going to have a long, long year.
Well, obviously, from the comments from you two, a pretty critical early season race here for the NASCAR Cup Series. We'll be back here next week and talk about the Phoenix race and tell you how it all happened.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.